That's right. That's right. Maine is the state with the worst infrastructure in America, based on our 2021 America's Top States for Business study. And perhaps the biggest reason is the power grid. The average Maine customer is without power for more than 15 hours a year. That makes it by far the least reliable of any state. It's especially bad in rural areas. Nan Kennedy raises sheep and manufactures fine woolens in Washington, Maine. For her, power is money and outages are expensive.
My animals don't have any water because I can't run the water systems, and and nothing's working. During that time, it was a hot day. It ended up blowing my whole solar system.
This is a big political issue here, including a bipartisan drive for a public takeover of the state's largest utilities. Governor Janet Mills vetoed the first try, calling it hastily drafted. So now lawmakers plan to take it to the voters.
This will save us $9 billion in the first 30 years alone. It will reduce our monthly electricity bill, and we'll have more money to invest in the grid so that the lights are on when we need them to be, and so that we can switch to more cleaner energy sources.
Maine's largest utility, Central Maine Power, part of utility giant Avangrid, is not a fan, no surprise. It says the proposed nonprofit under this proposal would not be able to afford those important investments.
We need to invest in our reliable systems. We need to invest in renewables. We're not going to be able to do the things that we need to do to take the grid, into the future.
The White House says that Maine stands to pick up to almost $2 billion under the bipartisan infrastructure proposal. A small portion of that is for power grid modernization. There's about $60 billion total in the bill for that nationwide. They really need it badly here in Maine. Guys?
Hey, Scott, anybody who's been to Maine knows what part of the problem is, at least. You've got a lot of rural access in pretty remote areas, and the lines run through lots and lots of trees. So when a windstorm comes up, it's going to easily knock some of these things down. What have they said? We've got to run, but what have they said just in terms of how much updating needs to and how much that might actually help?
Well, there's a lot and that's what everybody tells you, Becky, when you ask about the power problems here. They talk about the rural nature of the state, the fact that the population is so spread out. So they have some inherent disadvantages. But on top of that, they really haven't kept up with diversifying some of their generation sources and modernizing the grid, and that's what they hope to do. There's a separate huge political issue here over a transmission corridor that would bring renewables from Canada down through New England. They're going to be voting on that in November as well. There's a lot of opposition to that. It's controversial, but again, something that meets an important need here in Maine.